On Sunday, December 4th, 2016, 32-year-old Rosemere Silva and 30-year-old Udirley Damasceno were about to get married in a picturesque rural area near São Paulo, Brazil. Rosemere had a grand surprise for her groom and their guests. She planned to make a dramatic entrance by arriving at the ceremony in a helicopter. But just minutes before this spectacular moment, a tragic event unfolded that changed everything. Rosemere and Udirley first met in 2013. At that time, Rosemere was working as a nurse, dedicated to her patients, while Udirley was a skilled locksmith. They both attended the same evangelical church but had never really spoken to each other. It wasn't until 2 years later, in 2015, that they started to notice one another more closely. They exchanged glances and small talk at church, and soon, those small interactions turned into a deeper connection. Their first date was magical, and it wasn't long before they knew they had found something special. In a short time, their relationship blossomed, leading them to announce their engagement. The couple began planning their dream wedding, and for Rosemere, it was a fairy tale coming true. She had been dreaming and saving for this day for years, and she wanted every detail to be perfect. One of the highlights of Rosemare's plan was to make a grand entrance by helicopter, surprising everyone, especially Udirley. She envisioned descending from the sky, capturing the awe and admiration of her guests, and making an unforgettable memory. This plan was a closely guarded secret, known only to a select few, including her brother, the event organizers, and a close friend. A few weeks before the wedding, Rosemere arranged a 20-minute helicopter flight with a local company that specialized in light commercial helicopters. The flight, costing around $400, was supposed to add a touch of magic to her special day. On the morning of December 4th, 2016, Rosemare's day started early. By 7:00 a.m., she was already at the beauty salon, having her hair and makeup done. By 2:00 p.m., she was dressed in her stunning white wedding gown, ready to become Udirley's wife. According to her plan, she traveled to a nearby location where the helicopter would take off. She even had a brief photo session before boarding the helicopter, capturing her joy and excitement. Only a few people knew about this secret flight. Rosemere, the event organizers, her older brother Silvano Silva, and the wedding photographer, Neila Neves, who was 6 months pregnant. The helicopter, a Robinson R-44, took off around 3:30 p.m. with the intention of arriving at the wedding location by 4:00 p.m. Meanwhile, at the wedding site, Udirley Damasceno was preparing for the ceremony. He put on his tie and headed to the altar, believing that his bride was already on her way. The guests were eagerly waiting, unaware of the tragic events that were about to unfold. The weather was clear and sunny when the helicopter took off, and everyone, including the pilot, was in good spirits. Rosemere and her brother Silvano looked happy, though Silvano was nervous about flying and had only agreed to this for his sister's sake. Pilot Peterson Pinheiro was confident in his skills as he controlled the helicopter. As they flew, however, the weather began to change rapidly. Fog and drizzling rain set in, making visibility poor. Silvano grew increasingly nervous, and the photographer, Neila, started asking the pilot questions about their situation. Despite the worsening conditions, Rosemere remained calm, holding her brother's hand to reassure him. The fog made it difficult to navigate, but Neila trusted the experienced pilot. However, the deteriorating weather posed significant challenges. Suddenly, the helicopter began to fall. Back at the wedding, guests started to get restless. Rosemere was supposed to arrive half an hour ago. The pastor informed Udirley that the bride would be late due to bad weather, which seemed like a minor delay typical at weddings. But this delay was far from ordinary. The farm owner, where the ceremony was being held, grew concerned and called Udirley aside. He had heard that the helicopter had crashed, but had no further details. Udirley was devastated but held on to hope that Rosemere and the others were safe. Minutes later, the farm owner delivered the devastating news. No one had survived the crash. Shock and disbelief spread among the guests. guests. The crash site was just 2 miles from the ceremony location. When the helicopter didn't land at a nearby soccer field as planned, it raised alarms, and an investigation was soon underway. The main hypothesis behind the crash was that the deteriorating visibility, caused by clouds, rain, and dense fog, led the pilot to make a critical error. As the weather worsened, the pilot, Peterson Pinheiro, lost spatial orientation. In a desperate attempt to navigate through the dense fog, he descended the helicopter too low. Unfortunately, this led to the helicopter's tail striking a tree, resulting in the crash. The crash occurred in a remote forested area, which significantly complicated rescue efforts. The forest's dense foliage and the location's distance from any major road meant that rescuers and medics had to make their way on foot from the nearest accessible point. This arduous trek to the crash site resulted in a delay that could have been crucial in saving lives. Although it's possible that someone might have survived the initial impact, the delay in reaching the site ultimately proved fatal for everyone on board. In the aftermath, the National Civil Aviation Agency conducted a thorough review and revealed that the helicopter had been authorized to fly until February 1, 2017, with a maximum capacity of 3 passengers in addition to the pilot. However, it was noted that the helicopter did not have the proper certification for charter flights, meaning it was not legally permitted to carry paying passengers like Rosemere, Silvano, and Nayla. Pilot Peterson Pinheiro was regarded as an experienced aviator, but several critical mistakes were identified during the flight. The severe fog created a challenging environment, and Pinheiro's loss of spatial orientation led him to descend too low, ultimately resulting in the collision with the tree. The responsibility for this tragic incident was attributed to the helicopter rental company, which failed to adhere to proper safety regulations and oversight. This heartbreaking event serves as a stark reminder of how quickly circumstances can change, sometimes with devastating consequences. It underscores the importance of rigorous safety standards and the need for continuous vigilance in ensuring that such tragic accidents are prevented in the future. That's the devastating story of Rosemere and Udi's wedding day. It's a poignant reminder that life can change in an instant, and it's crucial to cherish every moment with our loved ones. Thank you for joining us for this story. Please stay safe and take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Until next time, goodbye.